everyone. Today we are going to talk about definitions, impacts, characteristics, some cases of earthquake and tsunami, also how to read it, and what you are going to supposed to during earthquake and tsunami. Earthquake is the original vibrations from within the earth, and the resulting ground shaking and radiate the seismic energy caused by the slip, by volcanic activity, or another sudden stress changes in the earth. In fact, the tectonic plates are always slowly moving, but they get stuck at their edges due to friction. And this also usually happens due to falling meteors or nuclear explosions below the Earth's surface. Next, a tsunami. Tsunami is a series of waves in a water body caused by displacement of a large volume of water, generally happen in oceans or a large lake. An earthquake is usually have the potential to generate a tsunami.
Impact. The impact of the earthquake and tsunami, that is damage to the earth's surface, involve destruction of the building and public facilities, and also incidents casualties. Characteristic. Generally, the characteristic of disaster, it cannot be prevented, and it was shocking, and it was sudden and shocking. A tsunami disaster will occur if epicenter under the ocean floor, deep less than 60 kilometers, the power of 6.5 on the Richter scale. The seabed experienced vertical enlargement. The seawater column above the epicentrum is thick. There was a massive volcanic explosion below sea level. There was a large landslide. There was a landslide at the bottom of the sea.
Now I will explain some cases regarding earthquake and tsunamis. First, the earliest fully recorded earthquake was the one in Shandong, China in 1831 before Christ. Second, the largest earthquake occurred in Chile with a magnitude 9.5 on the Richter scale. Third, an earthquake with a magnitude 8.9 on the Richter scale, followed by a larger tsunami in Aceh and parts of North Sumatra. And the last, an earthquake with a magnitude 6.2 on the Richter scale that hit Yogyakarta and part of Central Java. Earthquakes are disasters that can be prevented, but earthquakes can be predicted in the range time that it is possible to occur. There are two methods of earthquake prediction. First, short-term prediction. This prediction takes relatively short time, predicted time period between foreshock and main shock. From the experience of earthquake history in America, Russia, Japan, their time varies. Some are more 24-hour and some are more than 1 month. And this prediction, in fact, many have not worked. The second prediction is long-range prediction. This prediction takes a relatively long time. Study the interval of major earthquakes in the past. And it turns out that this cycle is not exactly the same as the Independence Day or someone's birthday, which has a clear time.
During and after an earthquake, you need to know and understand anything related to it so you can make a correct move. It is really necessary to minimize your loss. First, always understand and well prepared. Second, always collect an information about the disaster that is expected to be occurred in your place by contacting a competent agencies. Third, during a disaster, you need to know a good and a bad place to go. If you go to the bad place or wrong place, trust me, something bad will happen. Fourth, you need to always have a good evacuation route or plan so you and your family can escape safely. Fifth, always bring useful things only, such as flashlight or medkit. You will need it later. Sixth, always looking for an official only information from government. Seventh, after the disaster, always search for logistic help from government or from your family.
The next discussion is about steps when an earthquake occurs. There are several important steps to keep in mind which are intended to save ourselves. The first step is to stay calm and not panic. Remember to stay calm and not panic, especially if we are in the house during an earthquake. Staying calm and not panicking will allow us to make decisions more correctly and quickly, but not carelessly. The next step is unplug all electrical and gas equipment if possible. This is done to prevent the possibility of fire. The next step is take cover under a study table or chair if you don't have a time to go outside. This is done to protect the body from falling debris. The next steps, if you have time to leave the house, get out into the open space as soon as possible. The selected open space should be away from large buildings or trees. The next step, if you are in the road, immediately park the vehicle and go to an open space. The last steps, if you are in a coastal area and the earthquake follows the receding seawaters, as soon as possible, go to a higher area because there is a fear that tsunami will occur. When going to higher area, we can also alert other residents by sounding alarm such as siren and whistle. After the earthquake occurs and the refugees has been evacuated to a safe place, there are several steps we can take. The first step is checking family member. This is done to see the number of survivors and casualties. The next step is setting up a public kitchen, especially for women. This is done to sufficient food needs for refugees. The next step is build emergency tent, especially for men. This is done because refugees needed temporary resting places. The next step is immediately contact and go to the aid post to get nutritious food, blanket, and medicine. The next step is immediately contact and go to the health post to get checked out. This is done because usually after disaster, many people suffer from diseases such as diarrhea, skin diseases, and respiratory infection. The last step is assist in the rehabilitation and reconstruction of area carried out by the government.